Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the iHeartRadio network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys from down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France, and of course Canada. You know we love you, Canada. But Big C, there's still no one I love more than all you good old boys down south in the land of the free, in the home of the brave. Big C, how's it going for you good old boys? Oh, man. That's funny, man. We know it's always good to wake up, especially in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Today is a beautiful July the 31st, 2017. So many things happening in the world of sports, from basketball news, football news, of course, baseball trades. But also out of the White House, Big C, did I hear it right or wrong? Did Scaramucci get terminated, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, he didn't even have long enough to put a name plate on his door and stuff.
Yeah.
7 days ago, he was hired. 10 days after that, he was fired.
Wow.
So it's amazing with the turnover going on in the White House. And the ironic part about it, Charlton, Trump had a little mini, gathering press conference like that. He mentioned nothing about it. He waited for it to come out later from other people. But, here was a guy that he went on this profanity tirade against other members of the staff.
Yeah.
After he was fired, and Trump praised him and gave him all the power in the world, said, everything would go to him, and this guy was the ultimate guy.
Wow.
Now all of a sudden it comes out today, well, he didn't like the verbiage that he was using. He sounded like Trump when he was
Yeah.
Trump said today he didn't like himself.
You don't like people who sound like him. Obviously, we know that is true. And I do want to say this segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Escalade and the standard of the world. Big C, ironically, I want to jump on something because I just heard so many things about certain athletes that have been suspended for various reasons. Would you believe that cannabis is a $31 billion industry? Only $6 billion of that is legal sales. Who counted the $25 billion that's not legal, Big C? Can you tell me who came up with that number?
It's amazing how the government can keep accountability of monies in a movie. Around the United States, it's almost like the betting on the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
When you hear about it, there's going to be $400 billion bet on the Super Bowl, but not in Vegas. Who's the accountant is keeping, tabs on that?
Yeah.
When we look at cannabis has always been one of the worldwide leaders in sales.
Yeah.
They've always talked about it being illegal, and I don't know, how do you price cannabis? They like they go to the grocery store and liquor store and, put tabs on this is worth that, this is worth that, there's different grades. I haven't figured that out yet.
No.
The pricing of cannabis go down to evaluate what the price of it. Although I hear, from many athletes and former athletes that it works wonders for their bodies when they have an opportunity to use it. But I'm still waiting on how do you assess the value of cannabis.
Yeah, who does the counting on the $25 billion? Ironically, we talk about athletes that get suspended because they may have been caught with something in their system, and then you hear about how they're going to drug test all the athletes. If $25 billion is the unofficial count for cannabis sales, shouldn't they start drug testing everybody in the stadium? There are probably more people in the stands that buy tickets that have that cannabis in their system than the athletes on the field. I just think it's ironic because it is real talk, Big C. If there's $31 billion in sales, that's obviously something that could keep the economy going strong. Since people are using it anyway, just like the alcohol prohibition back in the day, Big C, I hope that we can stop penalizing athletes because they're also trying to get rid of pain, especially when we hear about all the CT issues and everything else. So, Big C, I just want to ask you this question because you've been around guys that couldn't even walk after a game. And then we talked about it so many times, but when I hear studies of $31 billion in sales, but only 5 of it is legal, the other 25 billion is coming from somebody. Tell me again, why would this be healthier for athletes that are in a game where they're designed to hurt each other, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charles, have you ever looked at how pharmaceutical medicine is distributed out? How many people's hands it has to go through, Charles, that
Yeah.
make money? You got the pharmaceutical
Yeah.
So you really, the number of people that are involved that are making money is limited. So people look at that for the reason why you don't make medical marijuana.
Yeah.
It's available for everybody because of all the people that you cut out, these middlemen that you cut out in pharmaceutical drugs, Charlton,
Yeah.
that are not getting money. But, you know, when you look at athletes and the pain threshold that athletes have to endure daily,
Yeah.
and when you think about the pharmaceutical drugs that help damage other organs in the body, not just the joints and the tissue,
Yeah.
that they damage as a player, but what they have to go through as far as destroying the rest of their body. When you look at the NFL today, you know, you've had 2 starting players just retired.
Yeah.
Linebacker from the Patriots, Super Bowl champions, said, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, I've had enough. You get Albert, big offensive tackle that was traded from the Dolphins, who was with the Chiefs 3 years ago, traded from the Dolphins this year to the Jacksonville Jaguars, retired without even taking a snap.
Yeah.
Both of these players, 9-year players, starters in the NFL, that I've had enough pain in my life. And fans are not understanding that, Johnson. When we always see these players over the past couple of decades, and people say, well, they retired early.
Yeah.
No one has retired early. The greatest thing about any professional sport, and a fan will never understand it or appreciate it, saying that I retired.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I retire. That is the greatest words that an athlete can dispatch from his mouth. I retire. I didn't get cut.
Yeah.
I didn't get traded. You know, I didn't get hurt. I retired. I retired with all my faculties. That's what an athlete wants to do. Medical marijuana may make him play another year or 2, but the NFL doesn't want that if pharmaceuticals are not involved.
Yeah.
But for a player to say that I retire, that means that that player has enough cognitive sense to understand that his body and his mind has been enough.
That's a very good point, Big C. And obviously, we want to make sure that players and everyone in society can remain healthy. But there's things that can help you that are natural from the earth and other things that are pharmacy made. And I just want to say in Colorado alone, $1 billion is sold in taxes. That's the legal side. Who knows what the illegal side is? And 65 million Americans, they live in states where it's legal to get. And obviously, it's an issue that there's a substance called THC, which it would help so many athletes. It's almost ridiculous that we don't broach that subject.
Think about the children and other
Yeah.
people in society who have epilepsies and other types of seizures
Yeah.
in the body, who have cancer. This has been a sedative that has helped people. And medically, it's shown to help people ease pain regardless of what they have. Arthritis, Charlton, and other ailments of age that have occurred. It's even been, talked about as possible in aid against Alzheimer's, Charlton.
Yeah.
But the pharmaceutical companies will always fight this because they say they have a better issue other than the natural one that's out there that will help American and worldwide citizens.
Call money.
This is when big business gets involved. Sports is big business. Corporations are big business. Everybody wants to cut out the person who has to put in the least that can benefit the most.
Big C, that's a very good point. You know, this weekend was a great weekend. When we talk about paying homage to baseball, there's some disturbing news out on Pete Rose. I won't go into it. Just came out today about this back in the 1970s. I think that's about 50 years ago, Big C. But I want to say the Hall of Fame inductees, Ivan Rodriguez, very emotional speech talking about growing up in poverty in Puerto Rico. Jeff Bagwell talks about life in baseball, how it all intertwines, a lot like the way Big C Sports does it. Tim Raines, his affection for Andre Dawson, he appreciated him so much, helping him get over his substance abuse, that he even named his son after him. And of course, you have John Small's 14 division championships playing for the Braves. But one of the guys that I think it just made so much in the world of baseball, made it great. And I think a lot of people, they either love him or hate him. But you look at Selig, the Commissioner Selig, in the steroid era, where a lot of guys made themselves famous because the long ball was so popular. Big C, talk about the Hall of Fame inductees, Big C, your thoughts.
Well, Johnson, when you think about Bud Selig to start off, all of these players that you named today played under the Bud Selig reign. And it's one of the greatest eras in baseball history.
Yeah.
The long ball, Johnson. That's what baseball has always been about. People hitting the ball out of the park. People designing parks for the home run hitter, making trades for players that can play in certain confines. Whatever you talk about in sports, there's never been a clean era in professional modern sports. I don't care whether you're looking at basketball, baseball, football, Charlton, hockey. There's
Yeah.
And it will allow players to recuperate quicker or to play through pain. And as long as they talk about it being pharmaceutical, it's okay. You can use any pharmaceutical drug that you want to get a player on the field.
Yeah.
But, if you use something that's not prescribed, then all of a sudden they're saying it's illegal.
Yeah.
What's the difference between Oxycontin and cocaine? It's not, Charlton. It's really not. It all depends on how you administer to the body.
Yeah.
They both are going to deaden pain. It's just you bought one in a powder substance, you got the other one in a pill substance. Charlton.
Yeah.
When you look at Novocaine is cocaine. You use that to inject and numb the body.
Yeah.
They use these substances, Charlton, but as long as it's pharmaceutical, they can say, okay, we can control it. Your body will only absorb so much of anything and allow you to function.
Yeah.
But Bud Selig, when you think about the era of baseball that he ran, Charlton, you look at the expeditious growth of baseball during that
Oh, yeah.
The fan faith that went on during that era, the excitement of the home run ball,
Yeah.
the World Series. He introduced the home run derby, Charlton, during the
Oh, yeah.
All-Star break. He did things to help the fans come back to the park. That is the job of the commissioner of any sport. Not to downtrodden this sport, not to make it boring, not to take away. I mean, we look at what, your buddy Goodell has done as far as taking away entertainment from football.
Yeah.
Celebrations after touchdowns, after big plays, the taunting. This is what athletes do. They taunt each other. It's not like they're going up punching somebody. I didn't see the NFL suspend Bill Romanowski's for spitting in J.J. Stokes.
Oh, yeah. I recall that.
He didn't do that.
No.
That's real taunting. That's something that's bad. But this is a white guy spitting in a black guy's face. So it was
Yeah.
different. Okay?
Yeah.
But, what Bud Selig did is he upgraded baseball. When a player can come to the plate and fans would stand in the stands in anticipation. You think about that in sports, anticipation.
Yeah.
Waiting on something great to happen. That's what Bud Selig did for baseball. He gave fans the thought that something great was going to happen every time they came to the ballpark. And so I praise him for that. That's what every commissioner should do in all their sports. Gary Bettman with the NHL and even your buddy Goodell in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Fans don't expect something great to happen every time they come to the ballpark. At an NFL game, they don't expect a touchdown to be thrown every time a quarterback drops back for a pass.
Yeah.
When a punt returner comes into the game, they don't expect a 98-yard punt return. But when baseball at its height with Bud Selig, when certain players came to the plate, you knew they were juiced. He knew they were juiced.
Yeah.
Pitchers knew they were juiced.
Yeah. And so,
Everybody in the stands would get their butts up out of the seat.
Yeah.
Because they paid for the seat, but they were going to stand and watch the home run.
yeah, and Big C, a lot of times you had juiced batters facing juiced pitchers. It's all fair in love and war, but being out here on the West Coast, one of the guys that wasn't there, possibly inducted into the Hall of Fame, and you think about Bill King and what he meant to Northern California sports fans, a broadcaster for the Oakland Raiders, a broadcaster for the Oakland A's, a broadcaster for the Golden State Warriors, broadcasted each one of those franchises as they won world championships. He came up with the phrase, Holy Toledo, and he had that saying in the Super Bowl, oh man, Willie, he's going to go all the way. And just so many great things. Of all the broadcasters all over the world, just touch on Bill King and how he was so talented, Big C, and your thoughts.
Well, Charlton, when you think the iconic voices of certain broadcasters who are synonymous with the era and the team that they support.
Yeah.
So many fans will turn down the broadcast of a network broadcast and listen to their local radio guy.
Yeah.
Because he's genuine about what he's saying. He's not sitting there trying to up himself, Charlton, talk about, his accolades or his former friends' accolades. What he's doing is highlighting the game and the players that are in the game.
Yeah.
And that's what we tune in for when we listen to a broadcast. I can care less about somebody making jokes and carrying on about a game they did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the game that's going on right now. Bill King made you feel that you were a part of the game. He was of that era, Charlton, of real radio men.
Oh, yeah.
Of a Lindsey Nelson, the guy that just retired from the Dodgers.
Scully. Ben Scully.
Ben Scully.
Yeah.
These great broadcasters, John Buck, who was there, who took you through the accolades of the game that you appreciated. You appreciated the athlete, you appreciated the coach, you appreciated the fans.
Yeah.
Because he was one of them. And so that's what we've gotten away from. We look at all these new modern, Wall Street or Madison Avenue broadcasters that you want to have now that look like they want to go up and down a runway. They can't help but be fans, of themselves and not really giving enough to the fans that are listening to them that they should learn from.
Well, Big C.
You can't learn from a broadcaster these days, Charlton.
Yeah.
But if you go back, as you say, in the Bill King era, Charlton,
Johnny
the
Most.
Nelson era,
Yeah.
the John Buck era, the Vince Scully, these guys were orators and educators to the fans.
Yeah, they were excellent, Big C. Johnny Most also for the Boston Celtics. I always thought something was wrong with his voice. Maybe that's just how you sound after you drink a lot of scotch over in Boston and then you go call a game for the Celtics. But just a lot of great things. Really proud of baseball and how they honored. Some people thought the ceremony went on a little bit too long, but there were people giving out their real emotions and feelings. Also, congratulations to Adrian Beltre hitting 3,000. I guess that's the 34th player in Major League Baseball, the first one for the Rangers. Congratulations to him. And a couple of big trades happened. The Dodgers, they did better in their pitching staff, getting some savers from Texas into their roster now. That's going to really help getting Darvish to come over to the Dodgers. But Big C, I want to say real quick that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. And for every sport event, you need insurance. We work through Ben & Mark. They work with Big C Sports. They've been around half a century. Whether you're a pro athlete, a collegiate athlete, a high school player, or your mom and pop soccer league, they got you covered. Big C, how sometimes if you talk about what happens when men want to fight, and we know the UFC is loaded. Dana White has done a lot, bought the thing for $2 million and turned it into a $4 billion deal. A lot of money in his pocket. Over the weekend down in Anaheim, we had John Jones and Daniel Cormier. Both fighters came in with one loss. Cormier's one loss came to Jones. Jones 6'4", 205, Cormier 5'11", 205. But when you saw that fight, it was a third-round knockout, kind of a beatdown. It really shows how good that John Jones can be. And I know we talked about the fact that the cannabis deal, that people do whatever to make themselves feel better. I think he was accused of something else in his blood. But just look at what he gave up, Big C. He hadn't fought in over a year. But when you see how skilled he is, that's the real UFC. It's not the Conor McGregor talk. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, this fight didn't get the hype because it wasn't black versus white.
No.
That's the biggest hype of the McGregor and
Mayweather deal, yeah.
Mayweather fiasco that's going to go on here, Charlton, because it's not going to be a real match because you're only going to be able to use one side of your skills to the most lacking part of your skills from McGregor's perspective. But, it's more the black and white. Always the white hope in America. And that, in the boxing arena, means more than anything else.
Yeah.
Back to Gary Cooley versus...
was Ali back in the day?
No, what was him? It was Larry Holmes.
Larry Holmes.
And everybody thought this great white hope, big 6'6", guy, going to come in and beat Holmes down and he's going to shut out this mouth from Pennsylvania. Everybody wanted to see lose the heavyweight title on no one could touch.
Yeah.
I mean, it lasted about 4 rounds.
Yeah.
And it dragged him out of the ring at that point. Everybody we've looked at, Charlton, that has come along and this exciting, great white fighter, great man Mancini. Everybody thought that he would be this, great fighter, in the middleweight class. Livingston Bramble bested him off in 4 rounds.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's come along every era. Ever since Rocky Marciano, everybody's wanted this great white hope to be the dominant man in the ring. And boxing is just not going to occur because you cannot, limit African-American fighters any longer like you used to.
Yeah, but
you keep great upstarts out of the ring because of finances and social structure in America. It just doesn't happen anymore.
Well,
but, when we look at this Jones-Cormier fight, this was a great boxing MMA match.
Yeah.
That didn't get the hype.
No.
You have these 2 tremendous professionals of the same sport that did not get the hype because no one wants to take away the fanfare of this McGregor, fight.
Yeah, Mayweather McGregor.
I keep saying fight. It is like a fight.
Yeah.
It's going to be a running match, tap, running match, tap.
Yeah, that's funny, Big C.
That he won't land enough punches to even hurt you.
Yeah.
So when we think about that, it's when they can get up and use a profanity-laden tyrant
Yeah.
for months, and it's accepted
Yeah.
People are losing their jobs. People are being suspended. But in this situation, it's being applauded.
Applauded. Yep.
Networks are covering it. ESPN and Fox, and they're all covering it. Hey, this is great that you can go out and use a racial and profanity-laden tyrant, and nobody getting fired or suspended.
Yep, that's true, Big C. Also, obviously, I know we talk about the Ball, the Ball father, Alonzo Ball's dad, and how he goes around making a mockery of broadcasting and reporting, and they say, oh, shame on him, but we had the Mayweather-McGregor thing where they go around and insult each other's nationality, and et cetera, and people love that. I do want to touch on one more thing that might be good or bad for the world of boxing. Now we have Brock Lesnar talking about fighting, and he's out of the WWE crowd, so that'll sell a lot of tickets against John Jones. They're different sized men, but I think Jones would beat him just because I think Lesnar's tried out for football. He's tried several other things, but when you look at Jones, the guy is so skilled, it's almost scary. He reminds me of Muhammad Ali back in the day when he was at his peak before he was incarcerated, Big C. He's just such a dominant fighter. What I do appreciate about him is after the fight, he went over to Cormier and gave him a hug and told him, good fight, even though I guess Cormier was concussed. But I just love the common respect that you have for other athletes after the fight, Big C. That was a big thing to me. Your thoughts, Big C?
Well, Charles, this is what happens. When we see fighters battling each other in the ring, they're total gladiators.
Yeah.
But they know each other outside the ring, and they all have a mutual respect for each other. That's the thing about athletes. You're paid to battle someone.
Oh, yeah.
You're paid to inflict harm on somebody.
Yeah.
But socially and professionally as a person, you know this person as an individual.
Yeah.
And so even though you may cause damage at work, you're not intentionally trying to end this person's career.
Exactly. Exactly.
You have some compassion and concern for them.
Yeah.
This is what happens in the arena of battle. And those people outside the arena of battle will never understand that.
Yeah.
But when you talk about this Lesnar-Jackson fight, Charlton, this is the only thing that Lesnar would have a chance at is getting physical and getting down on
I still think Jones would beat him. I still think Jones has too much skill for him, Big C.
He has the skill, Charlton, but it's hard to displace an 80-pound difference in fighters when you have someone down physically on the mat.
Yeah.
You may have some skills to get away from that, but that muscle and bulk, a lot of times, Charlton, will make the difference in certain scenarios.
Yeah.
And so that would be the one hope that he would have. As far as skills, he does not have the skills to be in the ring with him, but he has the physicality to make it through an event.
Big C, 2028, the Los Angeles area will host the 2028 Olympics. It takes me back to 1984. We have Flojo, who set records running around the track at the Coliseum, and then Carl Lewis showed how dominant he was. And then, Usain Bolt makes Carl Lewis look like he would have come in second place every time. But just your thought about the Olympics coming back to L.A., you have the Pacific Ocean, you have a Hollywood, you have LAX, John Wayne Airport, you have an abundance of hotels, a beautiful area. Your thoughts on how they're going to get stuck in traffic, Big C, for the Olympics? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, this would be the third time if the Olympics come back to Los Angeles. In 2028, Los Angeles would host the Olympics. You had 1936, you had 1984, maybe 2028.
Yeah.
But of all cities that could ever host the Olympics, Los Angeles has all the venues in place already.
Yeah.
That would be there. You have the existing arenas that all sit around, and plus they're building a new stadium and potentially a new arena. All the universities have an on-campus basketball facility. You already have the velodrome in there from '84.
Yeah.
So everything is in place. You think about all the tools that are in place in Los Angeles. So from a pure economic standpoint, this would be a $4 to $5 billion boost economically to the Los Angeles basin. I mean, you think about the Coliseum, you got the Rose Bowl out there, Charlton. You're going to have this new football stadium that they're talking about building in, where is it, Irvine?
I think Inglewood, where the Forum used to be.
Yeah, you got that. The Forum still exists. You're going to have the stadium in Carson where the Chargers are going to be playing for the next couple of years. So, when you talk about facilities, they're all there for baseball. You got Dodger Stadium. You got, Anaheim Stadium.
Yeah.
So, as far as multi-use of, facilities, this would be a good move for Los Angeles economically, socially, Charlton, to bring the world back back in to let Los Angeles, with all the problems it has had socially over the past couple of decades, clean itself up for the world.
Yeah.
To show the world that it can be a wonderful social place to hold an event.
Well, Big C, I think that would be great. Obviously, a lot of people in California are looking forward to having Los Angeles being the footprint again for baseball and football and basketball, and now having the Olympics back in town. I just think that would be a great thing for the city of Los Angeles. But, Big C, I want to touch on something again, and I know it's not much to say because we covered it so many times. It's almost like Richard Pryor back in the day when he was married. He dated a Playboy bunny, and his wife comes home early and she finds him on the couch, having fun with this Playboy bunny. He says, "Richard, I can't believe it, Richard. Why would you do that to me, Richard? I can't believe you'd do it to me." And he says, "Honey, who you gonna believe, me or your lying eyes?" So obviously, maybe the wife believed that she didn't see what she saw. This thing about Colin Kaepernick again and the Baltimore Ravens, their owner's talking about maybe giving him an opportunity. I think it's Steve Biscotti about taking on Colin Kaepernick. Obviously, the players want him there. But can you believe they're talking about having a prayer to get the fans' opinion on whether or not Kaepernick would be too explosive of a topic for the Ravens? They've had Ray Lewis, who was obstruction of justice, and they still played him. We know Ray Rice with the spousal abuse. They played him. Dante Stallworth had a DUI and manslaughter. They gave him a job. They just got to be honest. They don't care about Black Lives Matter. In a city like Baltimore, I think it'd be a great thing because it would help the team win. The last time they faced us with the Super Bowl, Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, when you look at the Colin Kaepernick scenario that has played out since March, when he was released by the 49ers, it hasn't been about Colin Kaepernick. It's been about the social injustice in America.
Yeah.
This is what everyone has a problem with. Colin Kaepernick did not take a stand against Americans.
No, he did not.
Regardless of how people wanted to spin that, he took a political stance. That's what social issues are in America. And this is what business owners hate more than anything else.
Yeah.
Is that you take a social stance against an injustice. And how can they counter that? That's the thing that you can't counter in America is injustice. No one can stand up against it. I think about when Donald Trump said, "I will send you out an angry tweet if you sign Colin Kaepernick."
Yeah.
And Donald Trump, just today in a tweet, think about this. This is the President of the United States standing in front of law enforcement in Brentwood, New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Saying that he wanted police officers in America to start roughing up people that they pull over. And that's mainly minorities. He's talking about starting to rough up Hispanics and African Americans. Donald Trump stated today in a press conference, not just a tweet, but in a press conference, that he wanted law enforcement to start roughing up people that they pull over. Now you think about that. This is the President of the United States, and then you got owners in the NFL saying
they agree with him.
I don't want to sign a guy because he's speaking against what Donald Trump is talking about.
Yeah.
This is the cowardness of the owners of the NFL saying that it's okay for the president to go out and tell law enforcement to start roughing up American citizens. But Colin Kaepernick told you before he got elected.
Yeah.
This is what should not be done.
Yeah.
So don't sign him. If you sign Colin Kaepernick, I might tell one of these law enforcement people to start roughing up you. This is what the president has indicated. So if America and the owners of professional teams want to believe what Colin Kaepernick did was wrong because he showed that dark side of their life,
Yeah.
they perpetuate Charlton, and that's all it is. He showed the dark side of the mentality of the owners of the NFL that they believe in what Colin Kaepernick said was wrong. They believe in what he said was wrong against what they believe is right.
Big C, that's a very poignant thing because the NFL is about 70% African American, and every black man that knows when you don't have the uniform on walking around town, you're not perceived the same. They know that. Baltimore's had its own issues with police issues, and so whatever happens with that situation, it would make the team better.
Well, Charlton, look at this. Tell me how many white former NFL players that we've heard in the last decade have been killed, have been shot by anybody, Charlton.
None.
We haven't heard about any, but we've heard of dozens of African-American NFL players that have been shot. So, the police and even the owners are okay, they're advocates of that. So, but this is a problem we have in society that you got owners that are saying, we don't want to, to bring up this issue of injustice because we're protected in every way.
Yeah.
We're protected by tax laws. We're protected by the government. We're protected by law enforcement. We can do whatever we want. We have autonomy, so we don't want to bring issues to what we have. So if we stand behind him, that may make the government say, hey, we don't want to give you tax-free money anymore as this NFL corporation.
Yeah, and that's, the shame is because a lot of people just are not honest. Big C, that's why I applaud you so much for bringing it up. We've had NFL quarterback, Hall of Fame guys, Super Bowl champions accused of rape, and no one said anything. They just let them play anyway. Obviously, it's happened so many times. They just were not black. They were white men that it happened to. So obviously, they're going to keep playing that same old race card, and they're going to try to make it seem like, well, he didn't stand up for the troops. That's so much garbage. He believes in the troops. It's just there's so many issues that go on in our society. But if people aren't honest about it, they can pretend it never happened. Just like, yeah.
Tell me about this. When a player gets arrested in the NFL, is that standing up for the troops or standing against the troops? When a player commits rape in the NFL, is that against the troops or for the troops? When that player commits battery, spousal abuse, is that for the troops or against the troops?
Wow.
So, to utilize whatever labels that you want to put on Colin Kaepernick and say, well, he was against the truth. Tell me about Josh Brown when he was beating up his wife 21 times with police calls. Was that something that an armed veteran would do, sit there and beat his wife up 25 times and she's waiting at home with the kids while he's off, doing his civic duty as an officer
Yeah.
in the military?
I agree.
Or players getting a DUI, or being arrested in a club for fighting. When we have all these players, Greg Hardy, getting convicted, is that against the truth or is that for the truth? We got Ezekiel Elliott in Dallas. Is that for the truth? Think about this kid, Lucky Whitehead, okay?
Yeah.
That got released by Dallas last week. If he had been a star player in the NFL, would he have been released?
No.
Would he have been a star kick returner, Charlton, an all-pro kick returner like a Darren Sproles?
Yeah.
Would he have been released? No. If he'd have been a number one receiver on Dallas like Dez Bryant, would he have been released? No. He could have stolen a dozen damn cars if he was Dez Bryant.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have got released.
Well,
okay, but Lucky Whitehead was an scapegoat for Ezekiel and the 5 guys that are suspended in Dallas off of their defense. Jerry Jones is saying, hey, I got to make somebody an scapegoat.
Yeah.
Because I'm covering for these fellas over here. I got to get the guy with the misdemeanor.
Yeah.
The guy with the misdemeanor ain't heinous enough to play in the NFL.
Well, obviously.
The guys with the felonies can, Charles.
Yeah, and the Big C, I just hope that at least if you're going to report on it, at least be honest. Don't act like you're talking to dumb people, because this is all about the race and how they're insensitive to the issues of African Americans. Big C, it's always been that way since the Kerner Commission. There was also back in the day a man by the name of Drew Bondini Brown. He was Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He had a statement saying, "Rumble, young man, rumble." Big C, what are you looking forward to in the world of sports?
Well, Charles, I'm hoping to be able to get out of here, out of New Orleans. I didn't have anything. I haven't gotten anything. I couldn't get my shirt up over my belly and everything.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm really excited about the trades that were made in baseball today at the deadline. I mean, the Dodgers got stronger. The Yankees got stronger. They both picked up some starting quality pitching. And so I think Darvish will make a big difference in Los Angeles. They're the best team in baseball right now.
Oh, yeah.
They're 14 games up in their division. And adding another strong arm, Charlton, I don't see any reason why they will flounder at all. This team is built for the World Series and the World Series only.
Yeah.
And I expect for them to get there.
Well, Big C, I agree with you. They're a very good team. And also, this is a very good sports show every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide on the iHeartRadio network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys from down south. We always want to tell you. And I hope you're listening, NFL. There's never any room for domestic violence. There's never any reason to hit a woman or a man. If you know anyone in trouble, just call 911 so people don't have to deal with that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports program, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.